big news is the injury to Ben Simmons. Looks like it's going to keep him out for a long time, Hornet.
Hate to see a young gun go down.
Yeah, anytime you lose a Ben Simmons, you're putting your team at a big disadvantage. What does he bring to the table? Well, first off, he's an absolute terror in the open court. He's a great playmaker, a solid defender. Yes, he has his issues, but this is a kid you can count on to make winning plays.
Strong agree.
Right, so who's going to step up in his absence? We want to know what you think. Tweet us or give us a call. We'll talk about it. Then we're going to do some Western Conference power rankings. A lot of good stuff coming up right here. Hank and the Hornet only on 98.9 The Flex. Stick around.
This is an aerial view of our location today, Sacramento, the capital of California.
Yo, what it do, 2K fans? Your boy JuKIng the Boss, and Lucious is back on the court. And today we're going to talk a little bit about this trailer that dropped for NBA 2K21. Now, I'm not really too heavy into the 2K season this year, mainly because, I'm still trying to figure out if I'll be getting next-gen systems on time. Or if there'll be a little delay behind it, with the current state of everything. And, it's not going to be too many systems floating around. So it's about, can I stay above and stay ahead of the game and kind of get the next system? That's going to ultimately decide on which way I go when it comes down to purchasing 2K this year, because we know that I'm still going to purchase it. But it's about figuring out which way I'm going to go about purchasing it this year, and whether I'm going to get it for both systems or get it for just one. So we'll see how that all goes. Now, I do want to talk to y'all about what we've seen in the trailer. Now, you can go and watch the trailer. You can see a number of people do a breakdown, detailed analysis on what they see and what that means. I wanted to focus on just a few key things that I took away from the trailer. And the first one, of course, is the shot meter. Now, the shot meter, I've seen a lot of negative feedback from it. And I've also seen a couple people that are like, as long as I can turn it off, I'm cool with that. There is one thing that I would like to really focus on when it came down to that shot meter. First of all, when I saw it, it looked like a return to a classic shot meter concept, not where it's placed, but its design. So essentially, if you go back and look at it, you see the meter doesn't have to feel all the way up for a jump shot. Instead, there's an orange window that is a optimal release point for that jump shot, and then you see a bar in the middle that might be like the perfect release point for that shot. So the reason why I like that is because it reminds me of an older concept, and to me it really dives in and harnesses the factor that not every jump shot releases at the top or the pinnacle of the shot. Sometimes the point of release is a little earlier, sometimes the point of release is a little later. So some jump shots is about the release on the way up, others is about the release kind of on the way back down. And then when you take into consideration and take into the fact that there are things like a defender closing out, when they close out, how much space, how much time you got to release the shot, those things are something I've always talked about can change when you release the shot, the adjustments that you make in midair. And so seeing that classic shot meter feel, that classic shot meter concept, because back in like 2K14 and I think 2K all the way back as far as like 2K13 on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, if I'm correct, the concept behind it was shots had a shot window, and it looks like we're going back to the shot window, the release window of a jump shot. And when I take that into consideration, it means that unless two people have the exact same jump shot, then that means that those jump shots might have a different release time for a different release window for hitting a green release. Another thing from that I took away that I'm hoping for. This is one thing I'm hoping for, that this new concept that looks like an old concept of the shot meter, what it could mean is that we could also see quick draw as a badge go away. Quick draw in general go away. And instead, I'm hoping that it's in fact going to be based on the jump shot that you chose. So the jump shot that you created, the jump shot that you put together, or the jump shot that you're choosing to use, you going by that jump shot's window, not releasing the shot at the top, trying to fill the bar up, and that's going to get you your best release. It also looked like there wasn't a green release. It looked like the bar flashed as he released it, and maybe that could be the new concept behind a more green release, or more close to a perfect release. But it'd be good to see. It's good to see little changes like that, to me. As long as you can get rid of it, or maybe even adjust where it's at, cool. But I also think 2K15 had a jump shot that was similar, where it was really about where you release the bar at kind of like the perfect time for a shot, but it wasn't when you filled the bar up. It was literally about getting the releasing at the time that it hit that line. So it was a little more about timing your release, and it felt like every jump shot didn't release at the same time with the same vector. So that's going to be good. I kid you not. Like, if they're going that direction, then I'm looking forward to it. The next thing we are going to talk about, of course, is the neighborhood itself. But before we get to that, we did see what looks like the return of college hoops, and I'm really a little excited about that. But only because I really feel like we always kind of get let down a little bit when it comes down to the aspect in which college hoops is in 2K. And that aspect is usually we get a couple of games, 4 or 5 games. When they first brought colleges back, I think we got 4 games, and then it was off to the races, and so it didn't give me enough time to see whether the build that I'm putting together was a build that I was going to want to use all the way through. Like, concept on paper and execution in the game itself is 2 different things. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to play a solid, I don't know, maybe a solid 10 games. Maybe a solid 10 games in college. I know that's probably even asking too much, but I would love to play like a solid 10 games, because they usually only let you play like either 2 5-minute quarters, 2 5-minute halves, or 2 10-minute halves. I want to see more realistic feels in the college format. So that's what I'm hoping for on that side of the equation. It's nothing really too big, nothing too fancy. To me, it's not even really about the colleges that they have available. I'm gonna play around with a couple of different colleges and everything, but when it comes down to it, it's about how much college can you play. I know the main focus is getting to the NBA, and a lot of people going to want to get to the park, and I'm hoping that they do the same thing they did last year, where essentially you can start the career once and then just go straight to the neighborhood after you play the initial game. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to really have a big NBA contract that you want, but if you're just trying to get to the neighborhood and play some park, go to the rec and everything, then have that option available. And soon, next we're going to talk about the neighborhood itself, seeing as we're on that. Stay tuned for the next game.
Hey, this is Kenny, man. First, I want to say congrats. Triple-double. Incredible night. But I'm curious, were you aiming for that? It was something you were aware of?
Oh, thanks, Wardy. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you, man. Just got to keep that pace.
We bring you tonight into Portland over the Burnside Bridge on a gorgeous evening here in the Pacific Northwest.
All right, so now that we're going to talk about the neighborhood for the current gen. Now, as much as I love seeing what they show with the shot meter, and as much as I love seeing the fact that they're going to be bringing back college hoops, and I told you my opinions on that, the neighborhood to me is the bread and butter of the life expectancy for 2K. Now, seeing as this will be the last main factor 2K on PS4 and Xbox One, and even the last one of this gen on PC, because maybe next year we'll start to see the newer version. I know I've had a couple people in my comments tell me, that don't expect too much from PC. I'll give you a little concept on that later on in the video. But for the neighborhood, we saw 2K Beach under the banner, and if you look at it closely, there's the backdrop, and I ain't talking about the backdrop behind 2K Beach, but if you look at the top of the screen and the bottom, you see what looks like water. So I mean, everybody's expecting that, okay, it's gonna be like a beach layout. Some people are expecting that we're gonna see the return of rivals. So, you know, Sunset Beach, River City, and was it Old Town Flies. So some people are saying that. Now, I'm not too hopeful. And the only reason I'm not too hopeful is because it's the current gen, and seeing as we all know that they're putting more of their eggs in the basket for the next generation, the future of the NBA 2K franchise, I still believe that they need to make sure that even if you're not going to give us everything on the current gen, it should be treated as your biggest and best product, because it's without the shadow of a doubt going to be guaranteed the last one people focus on for this generation. Now, there are a lot of people already saying that I'm just going to wait for next gen. I'm just going to wait for next gen. So that hurts the numbers in the beginning, right? That hurts the sale numbers. So for the neighborhood, I would love to see a beach theme. You know, I would love to see a beach theme, but I don't expect multiple parks or even a rotating look for the park. So the reason why I'm coming with these low expectations is because then I would be surprised and kind of happy to see if they do more than one park design or more than one backdrop on the PS4 and Xbox One version and PC version throughout the course of the year. So if we do get rotating design, if we do get at least two different park themes, and I'm not talking about, you know, the neighborhood park and then the ante up. No, if we get two different park themes or three different park themes, and I'm not talking about seasonal neither. I'm talking about look at the snatch. Talking about 2 or 3 different park themes for the year, where you can kind of like mix and match and go where you want. Sometimes you want to be in a beach setting. Sometimes you want to be in a more urban environment. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes you might want to be in what looks like a I want to say like a suburban neighborhood park, or, you know what I'm saying, like just change the backdrop enough to a point. And I also wouldn't mind seeing things like we used to have when we did have the triple parks, and that is just different court layouts. You know what I'm saying? Like the map layout was different in each park. So Sunset's layout was different. River City's layout was different, and Old Town's layout was different. Not by too much, but enough that made each park step and kind of like feel unique for its own. Like I think Old Town had like a lot of 2v2 courts or something like that. Or was that Sunset that had a lot of 2v2 courts? I know one of them had. I think one of them had like I know we used to have River City used to have the 1v1v1, and then I think one of them had like a 2v2, and then I think Sunset was the ones that had the 5v5. If I'm correct. So, you know, like I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. So that way, instead of, you know, 5v5 being a park theme for, you know, a day and everything, instead make it just put it in one of the locations and let it be its own thing. So if people want to do 5v5, they can do 5v5 anytime. And, you know, we saw a little glimpse that, of course, the rec is coming back. We know Pro-Am is coming back. I'm going to do another video. I'm going to talk a little bit more concept about competitive gaming, casual gaming, because I know people have been, you know, speaking their piece about that, and it's a lot to say. So I'm not going to really focus on that one in this one. But when I'm looking at what I've seen in the video, what I've seen in the trailer, I'm hoping and hopeful that we get a couple of different parks. I'm hoping and hopeful that the shot meter concept that I saw is something more telling of, hey, we're going to be doing shots that, you know, all release at different times, so it's not about filling the bar up, because that quick draw to me set that all the way up. Like no matter what your shot was, your shot meter built up the same way because of quick draw. It either built up slow or it built up fast, and it always built up at the same speed. But to me, that's not the concept behind a quick shot. That's not the concept behind the release of a shot. You know, the shot should be about releasing at the pinnacle or the best window to get that open bucket. So, new neighborhood. We know we're gonna get at least one. Let's hope for a couple of them. Let's hope for 2 or 3 of them, and then college coming back. And I ain't gonna lie, like I said, let me know if you really want to see more college in 2K. Like, you want to see a concept behind the game where you can play more than just, you know, full college games and then you want to the NBA, or do you want something that gives you more time to really flesh out your character? Because every year when I design my man, if I bought something other than the standard edition and I got the extra VC or even the 5,000 VC that you get when you pre-order the standard edition, I always waited to kind of utilize that until I seen what I can do with my player at the current state. And I knew that in the career, you know, you're playing on a easier mode, but seeing what you can unlock, seeing what's available to you when you hit these max levels on your character was important before I made a decision on whether or not I'm going to upgrade my person. So, like, I always played the first couple games with no, you know what I'm saying, not spending none of my VC, not even the VC I was earning, because the simple fact is it's like, okay, well, let me see if I can do something good with it. Let me see if I can you know, increase my ball handling and everything. And that's the next thing we're waiting for. We're waiting to see exactly how player creation is going to go down. But I want to see some changes in mechanics that will ultimately make the game better. That's my take on the trailer itself, man. Let me know what you think about it, what you thought about it down in the comments below. And we'll talk a little bit more as more information start to release. And I'm going to leave a couple links in the description, some pages that you should be following. So when information comes out, you'll be able to kind of get them and read about them as soon as you can.
Hey, Shaq here. Not many guys in the league are triple-double threats, but you put one up tonight, boy. Woo-wee. Is there more where that came from?
Nah, come on, Shaq, man. You know what I'm trying to accomplish. That triple dub. That's my goal every night. And that's why they give me so much freedom. They trust that what I'm doing out here by design of night is gonna be great. Plus, y'all in the media love talking about triple doubles, right? You love it.
I'm not a media man, but yes, I do love it.
I totally think we've gone a little overboard with some